All right, well, first day riding on the Supercaliber, and we don't make this stuff up. We got some of the crew out here getting ready to, you know, throw down a steady rolling pace. I didn't say race pace. Matthew's ready for race pace. And Ryan's been racing, doing a lot of running racing, so. But I've learned a long time ago, because I am old, like, don't go as fast as don't go warp speed on the first ride of a new bike. Especially when you built it up in between helping customers. I mean, I was just looking at it, I could tell it didn't even tighten my brake lever, you know. So and sometimes you want to dial in a bike before you really hit it. So I'm not going to be able to tell you how fast this bike is, but I'll tell you how it feels after the ride. And then it's all about having fun out here too. So
it looks like just a front suspension bike, but it's full suspension.
Yeah, full suspension. They tuck it in here.
Yeah, that's
nice. And it's just it's a short travel race bike.
Yeah,
short travel race bike. Pete's got one too. Pete's got I've got the navy, what do they call this one? Navy and gray? Yeah, smoke and gray. What do they call yours, Pete?
Carbon or something?
Carbon.
It's some weird.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's sweet. So we don't make a lot of money in the bike shop, but we do get some perks. We got employee discount deals. And then I've got a rental bike here, so I get to ride a rental bike that, well, since I own the shop, I did pay for it. But Alana gets to ride one. And then I get to also ride with awesome people, so.
Yeah, I like that bike.
Yeah, that bike's sweet. All right, well, I'm gonna put the camera away and get to riding.
Yes.
All right, first impressions of the Supercaliber Gen 3 on an old school cross-country trail from an old school dude. This bike rocks. And, you know, I can't give you my full opinion of this bike till I've had it for about a year. This is my first 12 miles on this bike. But I can already tell a few things real quick. Trek did an amazing job of putting together, for one, a solid bike. This bike feels solid, lightweight, but yet very capable. Small suspension, short suspension, cross-country race bike that's fun to ride on the trails. You know, Trek could have spec'd this bike down without a dropper seat post. Maybe with some lighter components to get the weight down. But this bike rides fantastic, and for an old guy that's been riding a trail bike, I'm glad it has a dropper post. I'm glad it's got the SID RockShot front suspension. You know, one thing that's light on this bike is this RSL Race Shop Limited bar. You know, it's slammed. You know, one of my YouTube viewers said, man, put a riser bar on that. Well, this is not the kind of bike for a riser bar. I do appreciate your comment, but this is a cross-country race bike. You don't buy this bike if you're gonna do a lot of down country. You know, you can get something like I have the back of my van right here. You can get a Trek Top Fuel and do all the down country you want. It's still not large suspension, but the geometry and, you know, overall, there's a riser bar on that bike right there. I brought it with me in case I wasn't comfortable on the Supercaliber, because I've got to lead a few different group rides today. But overall impression, this bike's quiet, it's fast, it's raked out. The rake and trail is more than what's on my Specialized Epic, but of course it's an older Epic. I can tell this bike is going to be faster and more comfortable for me. And I'm not saying anything bad about that bike, because I've won a lot of races on that bike. And it's still around. It's a great bike. I love the 4-piston level silver brakes. You know, I didn't think I need 4-piston brakes on a race bike, especially at my size. But man, it's nice, and they're actually lightweight. So, first impression. Oh, look at that! Starting to wear the crank paint off already in the first 10 miles. That means I got to do a little something different there. But absolutely awesome machine here. I'm going to put it through the long-term review. You can't go off of the first. You can't go off of the first impression, the first ride. I'm going to keep pushing this bike. I really like these grips, some RockShop grips. It's weird. Everybody thinks I got a grip shift, but that's the lockout for the front and rear, which on a cross-country trail like I have here at Bethel, and I'm so lucky to have this trail in my backyard. It's in the DeSoto National Forest. So this is old school single track mountain bike trail. Stuff that's disappearing all over the rest of the country. Some of our locals complain about it out here because you can't build jumps and all this kind of stuff, but for cross country it's so nice to have an actual old school single track trail that was a cow trail at one time, then the motorcycles took it over, and now it's a bike trail. So it's absolutely awesome for cross country. If you're old and you want to experience single track again, hit me up. I'll take you for a ride here at Bethel. Supercaliber Gen 2 9.8 axis. So far is awesome. Well, all right guys, I was just loading up my new Trek Supercaliber after its debut ride. 30+ miles of some amazing cross-country trails right here in the DeSoto National Forest, just north of Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm going to do a whole video about how I think this is one of the best trail systems in the world, and if you like old school cross-country riding and pushing cardio, it's, gosh, so good. I also want to brag on this Trek Rally Wave Cell helmet. It's one of the nicest mountain bike helmets I've ever ridden. Problem is, it gives me really bad helmet hair. I don't think I've had a helmet give me this bad helmet hair ever. Figures the most, and I like the way it looks, man. This is probably one of my favorite mountain bike helmets I've ever had. But man, if you see me driving home, it looks like I just woke up. I had the opportunity to ride with some of the Nike racers afterwards. Some of the coaches asked me if I'd take them, the Nike kids, for a fast loop. They know I'm a veteran mountain bike racer, and I'm not a certified coach, so I can push those kids harder than their coaches can, really. But we were talking about marginal gains, and I'm glad I had the Supercaliber. So I really enjoyed having the lockout. It locks out the twist, locks out the front fork and the rear suspension in one, and I use it quite often. I've never been one to reach down and lock out my fork during a race. I always forget to lock it back out and ride half the dang race with the forks locked out. I really like the blue, this color blue, and having it right here on the twist grip. It made it super easy to lock out the suspension. And when you're looking for those marginal gains, and you do that when you're cross country, if I'm going through, like here we have we got single track and it goes through some fire road to single track. As soon as I see a little piece of fire road, I lock this thing out, and I can tell the efficiency right away. So if it wasn't right here, if it wasn't accessible, I wouldn't do it. Nice job, Trek. And I've heard some of the other reviewers say that they didn't use it, or didn't work good, or it was in the way of the dropper post lever. I mean, to me, everything was sweet. I like the way this whole thing worked out for me. So anyway, nice job, Trek. This bike rocked. Marginal gains. I liked having that dropper seat post on there. Might add a little bit of weight, but you save a little weight with the Race Shop Limited RSL bars. I mean, when I say weight, this is like a 24-pound bike the way it sits with pedals and a bottle cage and all the rest of the stuff on it. So I do have to make some adjustments, but today was the first ride on it. I loved the SRAM XO. I love the way this frame, for me, a cross-country bike that has this rake and trail to it, I'm used to an older Specialized Epic, and it was really twitchy and fast. This bike wasn't as twitchy as fast. I'm going to show you some of our trails. Our trails are awesome, but right now there's a lot of this pine straw down, and it's slick back there, and it's trying to be a little bit cautious, but there's a couple times when I opened it up today, and man, I was finding the limit of these St. Anne tires. I don't think these are some fantastic tires. They roll great. I found the limit a few times, but the pine straw back there is really slippery. We call it brown ice back here. I really like the race day dampener in this Sid RockShox fork. That's a Debonair. You can see I used pretty much use it all my travels. So I set it up towards the size, the air chart on the Trek website, and let it eat. I am going to do some suspension tuning on it, but man, for a first ride, this bike was amazing. I did like the pivotless rear suspension. Out here, I didn't need any more suspension than was here. It was light, it was fast, it was efficient. When you put the power down on this bike, it is super fast, but it's also comfortable. Like, I brought this trail bike because I had to lead a couple group rides today, and I figured if I wasn't comfortable on the race bike, I would switch out to the trail bike. And this was sat on the back of my rack all day long. This bike rocked, man. I'm going to do a whole lot more on the Trek Supercaliber as far as a cross-country bike. I think if more people bought cross-country bikes instead of bigger suspension bikes, they might enjoy riding more. You know, at least out here where, you know, it's fast. Speed's the name of the game. And when you're struggling because someone told you needed a 140, 150 millimeter suspension bike, and you're pushing around way too much suspension out here, like, there's a lot of roots. I don't want to ride it on a hardtail either. You know, it soaks. I'm 55 years old. It soaks, and I'm out of shape. This soaks up the roots, but yet it's fast. I think if more people rode cross-country bikes, they're buying themselves a little speed, and they can take it easier on their heart. Like, they'd be able to keep up better. Anyway, I got a whole head full of that theory, and I got so much I want to tell you about this Bethel mountain bike trail system too. So anyway, guys, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube. I'm worn out. I'm gonna find a little place to park my camper van here, make myself a little lunch, and make a cup of coffee and get my thoughts together. But my first thought is this dang Supercaliber SLR 9.8 Axis was an amazing ride. Like I said, sometimes it takes more than just the first ride. You know, I'm on that new bike high, but it's freaking amazing. It's a great bike. I'm stoked on the cross country again because of this bike, and it definitely faster. So anyway, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, Biloxi Bicycle Works. Had an awesome Sunday riding bikes in perfect temperature on a perfect cross-country, old school cross-country trail system right outside of Biloxi, Mississippi. If you guys are freezing or your trails haven't thought out and you want a cool place to come ride bikes for the weekend, hit me up. I'd love to throw a little group ride together and some training together. And I can do it on the budget for you guys. So, you know, I was just watching this thing called Cycling House, and these guys, God, it's so cool. They take these trips, but it must cost a lot, you know. If you're not rich and you want to have a cool pseudo cycling house vacation, hit me up, man. I can arrange something. I've got places you're not going to find on any B2B website. I've got the inside scoop here, and this trail system is absolutely phenomenal if you like cross country, or if you're a mountain biker that likes trail riding, or if you don't want to deal with a bunch of elevation and a bunch of rocks. I could offer a really awesome vacation for someone. Anyway, I'm gonna go make myself some coffee and take a nap in the back of my little van. Over and out from Bicycle Rider YouTube. Thanks for hanging. All right, I am stoked on old school single track cross country trail. I know that's something that's dying, but hey, if you're an old school like me who loves pushing the cardio and loves a short travel cross country bike and all these machine trails around the country, around the world, are what you have to ride, come ride the Bethel trailhead or the Bethel trail system with me. It's awesome. Look at that young buck right there. Luke is kicking butt, man. I love to see the high school racers out here pushing pace, man. So I was just having a little talk with these guys about, like, Lucas loves jumps, man. That generation is awesome, but us old guys like pushing cardio. If you want to push cardio, come with me to the Bethel trailhead system. And these guys rock, man. Definitely support the, what is it, Interscholastic School, NICA Yeah, NICA. Support NICA. It's awesome. Keep this, use that energized. Well, I'm at one of the best trails in the world, and I can honestly say that because I've been riding mountain bikes for 30 plus years all over the United States, all over the globe. And I'm right here outside of Biloxi, Mississippi. I just did a little trail called Couch. Now, when I say this is one of the best trails in the world, there's probably a lot of locals that will totally disagree with me. But I tell you what, if you've got a cross-country bike, something short travel, and you like pushing cardio, and you like an old school single track mountain bike trail, and I'm not talking about this is a Jeep connector road. This is what a lot of people have to ride, where some people have to ride these little rocky trails that go straight up a mountain and straight down a mountain. We've got a lot of old school flowy single track stuff that around the rest of the country have been turned into subdivisions, neighborhoods, airports. This is part of the DeSoto National Forest, and we're so lucky to have trees, shade, the natural Tuxachanie Creek, and old school single track. Yeah, that's still a term that some of us know is called single track. Man, come to Biloxi, Mississippi. Have me be a guide for you while you're trying to get your spring training done. This is a super secret. Well, it's not a secret. It's just not well known. Bethel mountain bike trail system out of Biloxi, Mississippi. Hit me up at Biloxi Bicycle Works if you want to ride some amazing old school single track, the kind of stuff that's disappearing all over the country, all over the world. We have it right here in Biloxi, Mississippi. I can make sure you have an awesome weekend of mountain biking without having to do a whole bunch of climbing and falling on rocks. This is absolutely amazing out here. One of the best mountain bike destinations in the world that's not known. I'll show it to you. I'll be your personal guide, Bart Luther from Biloxi Bicycle Works.